Yeah, welcome to another episode of the Player Supreme Show. I am your host, Player Supreme, and today I'm looking at my funny papers. What do I call my funny papers? My dad used to call the comic strips he would say, ye old funny papers, or me old funny papers. And I call these my comic strips. Now, as you guys know, I was the real thing. I was the real thing in the real world. I wasn't some guy that was on some website formulating theories and then forming a group after that, RSD. I wasn't some guy that came to the internet looking for answers. I found my answers in the real world. I learned how to dominate and control the women in my life, so I lived like a king. I wasn't a dater guy, and I get guys always asking me dater questions. Unfortunately, there's better people out there that are at dating stuff than I am. I had one purpose, and that was to rule. And that's what I did. I ruled in my game. I started in my late 20s, and I continued to 45. Yeah. So that's a long time to learn. I've got a lot of experience in my head about how you can amplify your dating game. So I'm looking at my funny papers, and I look over the topics, and I think, that sounds kind of interesting. 30-year-old guy who wants to date 18 to 23-year-olds. And that's a guy that can't accept the fact that he's aging, and he's probably wants to feel like he's a power man messing with kids. You know, those pretty much young kids. I'm 58, so I consider a girl 23 to be pretty much, pretty young. At 30, you need to be messing with 25 and up, not 18-year-olds. Barely legal. That's the type of man that would, if he had a chance and there was like a 16-year-old pushing up on him, he would do it. A child. He would do it. These types can't accept the fact that they're getting older, and they always want that young stuff. So they can feel like, big men, power men. In fact, there's a guy named Steele that teaches old farts. That's what he talks about, is old farts getting younger women. But he writes, here's the deal. I turned the big 30 not long ago. I live with parents, no job, no income, starting from zero. Let me see if I understand. I live with parents. I have no job, no income, starting from zero. So he's a 30-year-old loser. He's totally immature. And he wants to be a big man around these 18-year-olds. I know about life. Let me teach you. He's the type that if the girl is like inexperienced sex, well, I can teach you. You know the type. Well, you guys probably don't know the type, but I've seen this type of crud before. I always get a sour taste when I see old farts want to go for younger chicks. Yes, I did it myself. They were close to me or in my environment. I never went out looking for them. I've always had a goal of backpacking and traveling the world for at least 6 months, to do it indefinitely as a digital nomad. That part I can appreciate. That's one of my goals. Make money online from anywhere using a laptop, yes. Only thing keeping me from being a digital nomad right now is sitting right over there. And my offline business. I'm a personal trainer, as you know. And it actually felt good. I didn't train anybody in the month of August, which means I had no income. That's what I use for myself as my personal training income. My online income goes to Jovina and the household. So I have two different bank accounts. I'm going to close my personal training bank account and just put all this in one. But let's see where he's going here. I have various web skills and doing stuff / making money on the web on and off for 10 years. Due to the ever-changing pace of the web, my skills have largely become outdated. I have half made the decision to go serious and put in the time and effort to learn and practice all I need in order to make my dream a reality. This type If you look at him, he's 30 years of age. He's not working. He's living with his mommy. Males that live with their mommies. I know some of you people don't like what I'm saying, but you haven't grown up yet. Your mommy cleans your clothes and makes your breakfast. What kind of woman wants to step into that? I know of only one person that's making work. That would be Bangura. But I do encourage him to get out from under his mommy, even though she don't live in the house or is rarely there. So he goes, this is my main goal or my major definite purpose. Another goal is to get good with women, have lots of sex, have fun while I am still young enough. My history with women is virtually non-existent. So for 10 years, he sat there doing nothing. I'm just going from 20 to 30. He has no experience with women. What was he doing all that time? Playing video games? How do you get to be 30 and have no experience with women? And if you're one of them, you need to do something about this now. Because in 10 years, you'll be 40. 40. At 40, men are looking at their daughters going to prom. That's where you should be, according to American society. At 40, you're on your way downhill. You're at the top and you're barely over the edge, sliding down. At the end of that is death, by the way. So I'm 58, so I'm down here. Death is right down there. And I guess he's waiting for his parents to die to inherit their house or their money. Then he's going to travel the world on their money. Hey, we all do it. I've come to realize I'm not inheriting from my mom, by the way, in case somebody is thinking I'm doing that. No, she has my half-brother as her, who gets all of her dough. She had about 700 grand saved up. If he lives, if he makes it. Unfortunately, he has blood cancer now. I'm worried about him. I've come to realize this is largely due to the nice guy syndrome. I actually think, well, pretty certain I am a good-looking guy. Everybody always thinks that. One way to tell if you're really attractive to women, put yourself on hot or not. Get judged. But don't react like Michael Nolan did. You know, they ranked him a 3. He took his photograph off of YouTube. He hasn't put it back up. It really fucked him up psychologically. And then he was saying, mad at me because I said, you know, for an Irish guy, he was above average. You know, that's where I ranked him. So I've seen people over there in their movies and their TV shows. And he never did recover from that, as far as I know. So if you got a good backbone, you can take it with a sense of humor and not take it too seriously, put stuff on there. They'll let you know what they think. And you should always use your best photo. See, I used my one photo that I use for internet dating, or used to, the smile with the hat. And that got me an 8 after all the dust settled down. And I was happy with that. I know I'm not a dime type of dude, but I was actually, I always thought of myself as like a high 6 or 7. But when you can use certain photos to get yourself a little bit higher. No, seriously, going back 10 years or more, I very often got stares from good-looking women. I know that thirsty look they give. Plus, I've always generally liked what I see in the mirror. I do remember on at least 2 occasions, girls I sort of knew telling me I was attractive. Two times does not, I was thinking that just now, does not sound like much, but considering I had an awful social life throughout my 20s, I just wonder where the time went. He's fucking 30 now. You guys who are 25, and still struggling, where'd the time go since you were 20? Let's say 21. Where did that time go? What were you doing? Why weren't you improving yourself and getting this silliness handled? I'm in business because of your silliness and inability to handle your shit. And some of you guys make it a silly thing. I'm only 5'5". Okay. He has a word I don't know. NMMNG. In that, he says how nice guys sometimes use good looks. I guess he's talking about a book, ebook, one of them ebooks. Use good looks, their personal appearance as a way of gaining approval or validation themselves. That's definitely me. Back when I was in university, ages 20 to 23, especially final year, he did good. Got out at age 23, kind of late going in. I felt so good with the amount of female attention I got, but he did nothing with it. Don't you guys get internet porn? That's why you don't feel horny. We didn't have internet porn when I was young. We had porn magazines, but we didn't have internet porn that you self-satisfy yourself. When I was a young adult, married, you guys who have cable TV, cable was actually broadcast through airwaves. I believe it was HBO, the first one. And these have porn. And I had a bootleg, I had it on a stick, and I'll hold it and rotate inside my house. So I found a snowy signal. And I would sit out there and look at porn, then go jump on my wife. I'll sit there and tune that thing on a stick. It was a little dish at the top of the stick, and I find that signal. I'm so glad I got away from that. I would hate to be one of you guys just whacking your brains the fuck out. So he spent all those years jacking off, obviously, because a man needs sexual pleasure, unless he's some kind of asexual or maybe even homosexual. So it's all twisted. He won't look at men. He'll look at women, but nothing happens. He'll force himself to just only look at women because he's in denial. Somebody explain it to me who is in their 20s and isn't having sex. Am I correct that you're self-satisfying? Send me an email if you're too afraid to leave a comment below this or in the the chat box. I think it's sad that you males aren't having sex with women when you should be. That's what a man does. One of the things the man does. Anyhow, it's something that really annoys me and is a huge regret of mine. Not taking advantage of my looks back in my early 20s. He should feel regret. He should feel ashamed of himself. Not banging girls left, right, and center. At least had a girlfriend. At least had one girlfriend in your life by the time you're 30. At least one. Come on. Even if she's a fat girl. At least one. And starting at 30 is weird. It's going to be hard for him. But at least he's trying to start. There was this one girl who I was infatuated with. It was so obvious she liked me back, but I never had the balls to speak to her because he was self-satisfying. He was laying on this sheet or in his chair at his desk with a tissue, blasting his balls out. All this sounds vain and selfish, which it is. I was shy, and I finally realized That's selfish. I hate thinking of myself as being selfish. I always had this belief that I was more, okay, I said moral, but that I was upright, that I was a decent person inside. And you have to have that inner belief, especially when you're playing women. See, the reason why I don't feel guilty, because I know that I bought them goodness into their life, like the best sex they ever had. That was my main thing, was to be the best. It was seek and destroy. Make sure I overcome anybody they've ever met. It was actually a psychological problem for me that I later realized. When my little brother died of cancer, I was done with all of that. Like with Jovina, no, I'm not gonna. I didn't try to be the best. I just was myself. Yes. I want to fulfill my potential while I still have youth and looks. I can pass for early 20s, so I've been told over, and he should be with women his own age, but mentally he's a child, obviously. But 10 years, fuck, of nothing. 10 years of nothing, no growth, no maturity, no job. He must be an only child. Well, I would wager he's an only child. So I've been told over and over, so the age gap thing may not be such a thing. Actually, it is. When they find out he's 30 and that he has no job, that he's not doing anything with himself, they're going to be grossed out. He's going to be a hard sell. It'd be different if he was 30 and he looked young, he had a nice car, a good job. He can't even take a girl out to buy her a cup of coffee without asking mommy for some money. I want to bang the 18, 30-year-olds largely to make up for the unfulfilled potential when I was this age. See, that's the wrong reason. Second, because I find these women most attractive naturally. Am I wrong? He's right about them being the most attractive. The older they get, the more women do kind of lose their looks. I refer to the average female. When she's 18, she's got a great body. The ones that we slather over, they have great bodies. They go to the clubs. They start drinking. They go to college first, and they get into the college parties, and they start drinking. When they become 21, they go to clubs, they're drinking. You see them guzzling beers. Then pretty soon they get a little thick in the midsection. Every year that goes by, a new model, younger model comes out. So they lose their value, especially in nightclubs. So eventually they realize they're older. Let's say they're 29. They feel old going to a 21-year-old club. So they start going to the older clubs, like where I met Jovina. And people 29, 30s were coming in there. Most of the people that were going there were like 35 and up. But the younger sets were coming in. And then they get to feel young again because the old heads will be all swarming all over them. When I was at that club, the average, actually, there was a 24-year-old, a bunch of 30-year-olds that I had met. And also the one girl I did hook up for a long while with, she was 28. She's actually on my Facebook. She's now in her early 40s. Her daughter is grown and actually she's biracial, and she actually has a child with a white guy. And I'm looking at the child. I can't see any African American in him. Blue eyes, bright blue eyes, white skin, except maybe his nose. But a lot of white people have that, like little round noses. Then they grow into them. But it's interesting. Anyway. She's now in her early 40s, runs marathons. I've been watching this girl who travels around her van. She's German. I can tell she's German because she has the same body as this girl I'm talking about. Let me get back on point and finish this out. When you get old, you have all these memories that surface when you talk about things, and I like sharing them. I want to bang the ATM. Am I wrong? Am I bad? Strange? Creepy? Creepy, yes. Strange? Yeah. He's very strange, very creepy. He hasn't done anything with his life. from 20 to 30. There's been nothing, no accomplishments. Share your thoughts, opinions, experiences, advice. Thanks. Someone gave me some good advice. I'd be more worried about getting out of my parents' house, finding a job, getting some income in. Exactly. I can't even imagine 20 to 30, and there's been no growth. See, I'm not close to the lower end of the African American community where there are people like that. I don't have any connection to them. All right. What do you guys think? I just can't get over 10 years and nothing. He hasn't done anything. And he's a white guy. I know, there are problems in the community, but I've never seen that before. And excuse my computer's running slow this morning. Let me see if I can get rid of some of these tabs. I'm using Firefox, of course, which I know I shouldn't be using. Let me see if I can get rid of some of these. There we go. I think it's because I added this video licks stuff to my Firefox, and it slows everything down on YouTube because it's going in, looking at the video, how much that video is earning. Let's see. 2Jai 30 living with his mom. What's up, YG? What's up, Simply Deep? What's up, KR? Manny, how you doing? Yes, did I know Logic is biracial? Who's Logic? Who are you talking about, Manny? I have a total Jewish name, too. Manny Rosenberg. You can't get any more Jewish than that, man. Did you know Logic is biracial? Who's Logic? Let me know who Logic is. Let me get back to my next funny paper story. Something is wrong with her pussy, her vagina. Currently seeing a girl who I have sex with usually once a week. Nice girl with a fantastic body, tan skin. Very slim, petite with big titties. Her body gives me an instant erection. Anyhow, every time I finish fucking her, my dick, I think you want to say my dick, feels sore, and he even has torn some skin. Wow. Just a slight cut. My dick is pretty much out of action for nearly a week after her. What gives, man? Her pussy isn't even that tight. So why do I end up getting sore or chapped? She's probably not lubricated. She's probably has low lubrication. And if she's had a kid, a child, there could be scar tissue in there. That's why I don't like hitting the bottom. For women that had children, let's say this is their vagina down to the cervix. Down here, it's like some scar tissue, and it's like you poke through it. You push through it. And it hurts. Doesn't feel good to me. And women also, she might also have a diaphragm. This is the vagina. A diaphragm is a wire that sticks out. Okay, and I've had that problem. Hitting that damn wire down there at the bottom. And it caused my dick to shrink up a bit to get away from the pain. So either of those are probably what's going on with this fella. If you guys ever have that problem where it doesn't feel good at the bottom, if you can hit the bottom, that's probably what's going on. I'm looking at a guy says, I'm afraid I'm a sociopath. Then he should just go check himself in right away. I overreacted after reading an article. I feel empathy and the pain of others quite well, but I got a lot of personality traits that are findable in he's a guy that's been Googling shit too much. Because if you're able to feel empathy, then you're not a sociopath. Now, this idiot he's asked a question, should I ask if she's single? He goes, I've been talking to this girl for a week, more or less. Yesterday, I found out there's a good chance that she's messing around with another dude. Now, how can she be messing around with another dude when him and this idiot, they're just talking? They're not fucking. He's just talking to a girl. I guess some of you guys think that if a girl says hi to you in the morning, that you own her, that she's yours. She shouldn't be saying hi to anyone else anymore. And that's a psychopath right there. That's psychopathic behavior. He goes, she's messing around with another dude. No conclusive evidence. So he's thinking of evidence now. So I just decided to go and see on that beach, thinking if she's into me, she'll definitely text me. If she doesn't text, she isn't worth my time. After thinking about it, I came up with other possibilities. Straight up ask her if she's available / single. Could be awkward and give the wrong impression. Yeah. I've never asked a female if she's single. They always ask me. So are you seeing anyone? After I done boned them real good. They want to keep it to women told me that when they get good sex, they want to keep it to themselves. They don't want it's good that other girls are getting some. They know that. And I've been told that when it's this good, you know you got other women. Or inviting her to a date. What do y'all think? So he's like a nice guy. Nice guys, you guys will crush on girls, and you do the exact same thing. Just because she's speaking to you, take a moment of her time to talk to you. You think that you've got a chance. You think that this is now your girlfriend or your fiance, I should say. And that you guys are going to have little bitty babylets, little bitty nice guylets, nerdlets, and have a house and a picket fence. Then the light of reality hits you. She suddenly starts talking about sucking this other guy's dick and how it made her jaw sore. I was watching a Burning Man video. I posted on my forum. If you're on the forum, it's the one that shows a girl. They all have girls in them. But she's looking straight at the camera. And she went to Burning Man, and I'm looking at the guy that's in the car with her. So, oh, wow. One of those type of guys got a nice looking chick. And he drove, I think he said 14 hours to get her there. She got there, none of the videos showed that idiot. He was one of those nice guys. And then some of her videos showed she was hooked up with this other guy. Guy had a beard. He was about the same size as the other guy, but he was one of the cool types. The other guy was obviously a nerd. He had his glasses on, and he was just geeky. You nerds and you geeks, your personalities give you away as to what you are. You don't know how to be cool. You don't know how to act cool. You're awkward. He was just like that. And he was trying to, you guys have trouble showing enthusiasm also. And those types of guys, they have no problem, go, yeah! White guys, they get beards. Yeah! He was that type. Okay. So she was kissing on that dude. The nerd got left behind. He drove her ass there, looked after her. I'm sure after the guy wore her out, he probably went and got a towel and helped clean her up. I know you're going to thumb down my video because I remind you of the pain that you're living in, you nice dudes. But you got to change. You awkward guys with the glasses and the awkward way you guys move around, you got to change. Let's see. P.S. She did seem attracted to me, but I don't want to be no cuck. Laughing my ass off. Well, the joke's actually on you. He must have been snooping around to realize that she's got other dudes. Fellas, if the girl's attractive, recognize that those types of women cannot walk down the street without other guys putting their bid in. So obviously there's 1 or 2 or 3 or more other dudes tapping that. So your goal is to out tap it so the other guys will go away because she won't want to see them anymore. That's what I've done in my life. Okay. Many of the girls I met, they had other guys. So I was the guy that they would go on excursions with. My bed. Okay. I was the guy they would break dates with to come over to get the better sex. There's nothing wrong with that. If I was doing it better than these other guys, and I always make sure I focus on my women, I always got them off first. Even today, to this very morning, I always make sure I get my woman off first. Then I bust. So that put me up ahead of most of the dudes out there. Okay. What I've learned is that, let's break down by race. White guys, you don't give a fuck if they get a nut most of the time. That's what I've learned in my time period. Black dudes, you focus on getting them off, but you totally into your size too much. You think that's all it takes. And that's not true. With vaginal chicks, that's all it takes. But clitoral chicks, you can do other stuff. And I don't mean to put any race down. I just put both races down. I don't know anything about Asian guys. The girls that I knew, they didn't never date Asian dudes. I do know about Hispanics, the Latin lover types. You guys become too needy. You fall in love like that after the first time you hit it, and you get all needy. I've been watching this Dating Beyond Borders. I encourage you guys to check it out. And they show what it's like dating, like they show what it's like dating a Portuguese man, European Portuguese, not Brazilian. And they show the girl talking to her friend, after they start dating, and she's out with her girlfriend, and he texts her, "What are you doing?" A moment later, "Where are you at?" Needy. Portuguese males, you guys, Jovina. Portuguese men tend to be needy. Is that true? With the texting and where you at?
Yeah, I think the younger generation's not so much anymore, but yeah,
that video that we watched the other day, that was pretty.
Generally the case.
Yeah, generalities.
Yeah.
Mexican men, same thing.
Same thing. Yeah,
Same thing. And with dominance thrown in. You guys, you get overly dominant. Italians, same thing. With a heavy dose of dominance.
But that's not good because.
You look at fucking bouillon. You look at fucking bouillon, that eggplant.
No, I mean.
There.
It's just a bad.
Her eyes glance at the black.
It's generally a bad quality because then it gives.
That eggplant.
It gives your girlfriend, wife, whatever, that mindset that you don't trust her, and when there's not any trust, it's it makes for a lot of fighting and a lot of arguing and stuff in a relationship over something like that. A lot of times that's what it is. It's arguing over lack of trust.
I ran into girls that like that. They like manipulating men. They like them into them like that. That way they can try to twist them around their fingers. I had them try that shit with me. In fact, the girl that I did my side stuff with, you know what I mean? You guys that know me. We were driving down the road, and there were these Mexican guys, and she was Mexican, in the car next to us, and she was like making eyes at him, licking her tongue at him. She was trying to get my ass killed. She liked that, and I never showed any jealousy of her, but she was trying to instigate something.
But that was an insecurity thing on her part. She's insecure about how you might feel about her.
I kept her insecure like that. I never got close. She wanted the attention. She liked the attention, and she liked making fools out of men, get them all riled up. So beware of that type of female, fellas. She'll get your ass killed. Manny, where'd you go? YG, a dry pussy can do that. Yeah. I haven't had too many dry pussies. I've had one that was like that. Even the girl that was 98 pounds, she got wet like crazy and busted all kind of nuts. Luther, that's my grandfather's name. Luther. Luther, I don't know if he had a middle name, Panky. He says, I agree with what you're saying, bro, but Backpage will straighten out a lot of these niggas out. LOL. I've been on Backpage before. They're a prostitute site. I thought most, Craigslist, Backpage, KR. I remember this movie that came out in the early 80s, The Last American Virgin. Nice Guys was butthurt looking at that movie. I've never seen it. Luther, you gotta play with these bitches' mind. Fuck it, then fuck them. Luther, you got some game. Welcome to the game show. Asian got them. Okay, I'm not gonna say that. I have an Asian guy that comes in here. Shamar, LOL, CTFU. Shamar, I don't know these anagrams. I'm old. I don't know these young people's anagram things you guys do. Yeah, Backpage pussy. Man, these niggas. Also, I don't use the N-word. Here. In fact, that's one of the words we as a race have to drop. I know, before you begin, I know the rappers started doing that. My generation started rap, by the way. And white people took over all of the rap companies. I don't know if you are aware of that or not. And they gave them 5 or 4 rules. You cannot talk about white people. You cannot talk about the police. You cannot talk about Jews. You cannot talk about gays. And that's back in the early 90s. The rap turned in on us, each other. And that they popularized the N-word and all that shit. So that's why young blacks like you use it. I think it's time for our race to wake up and grow the fuck up, because we're one of the most immature races on the planet. We're the oldest, and yet American blacks were the most immature. YG, I say Nigu, meaning black king, and we're not African here in the States there, YG. We don't understand. We've lost touch with our roots. We have no connection to our roots. They made sure of that. Okay, so we don't speak your language anymore. If you watch the DNA of black folks that come back, like I was watching this one, she was actually, one chick, she was like almost biracial, but both the parents are black. But that comes back, they're part Nigerian, part Mali, Benin, Togo, and we're all fucked up. They bred us like dogs. But we are the ones that survived the capture, then that long ass march across the country to Fort Jesus. Those people that survived were strong. Then waiting in those cells all those months on top of each other, so you're shitting on each other, pissing on each other. Then on a boat, same thing. And then whipped like dogs and put in the fields to work. So African Americans, we're the product of Hitler's breeding program, pretty much. But only the strongest survived. That's why our grandparents were so goddamn physically strong. or when you guys, your great-grandparents. My grandfather was born in 1876, so my dad was actually his youngest child, so I'm in a weird situation. What's up, David? Speaking of our African brothers. I appreciate the word YG. Nigu. It sounds so much like the derogatory word for our race. And we as a race, we got to learn to stop that shit, as I said, and grow up. Anyways, I was doing my funny papers. Hold on. I see a big butt. Jovina, who is that?
Who's what?
Nice shoes.
That's why I'm watching the video. She's showing her shoe collection.
She had a big butt too, huh?
I guess. I don't even know who she is. All I see is...
Well, I see some thick thighs and calves and those wedge heels. Of course I noticed that. What happened to fast seduction? You guys don't know what fast seduction was. Fast seduction was a site. Fast seduction is the reason why I started the first podcast show in this community. And I was on fast seduction. I left So Suave because of trolls. I had thousands of post comments, and most of them were defending myself against trolls. As I mentioned many times before, I didn't know what the people online looked like. And on that site, they had a post your photo thread, and I realized, fuck, these are the nerds. And I was preaching, just, hey, what's so hard about going up talking to a babe? You shouldn't have any problems with that. If she's feeling you, you feeling her, go up and talk to her. Then I realized it's these guys. And that's why they were hating, because I would go out that same, I'd go out and I'd come back to the site the next day, and this is the girl I met, because I had a webcam. And before they left in the morning, I would be at my computer. Hey, come over here, give me a kiss. I'm gonna take a photo. Webcams were popular back in the beginnings because women loved. They would send me all these, risque photos. Women were like closet freaks. That's why I can't show you my photographs, because inside is some freaky shit that they sent me. Anyways, or some freaky shit I had them pose and do. I would post, the girls' photos, and I would get all this hateration because that site was full of virgins. That's the problem. And there I was, I'm like this top player. I go out, I meet girls, I bring them, I fuck them. They take me out to breakfast next morning usually, or I have them make me something to eat, and they go home. And they call me, hey, when can we meet up again? That was my MO. So I'm amongst these guys that can't even talk to a girl. Of course, I'm also black. It would have been a different story if I was a white guy. I would have been in like Flint. That's old saying of my generation. But I'm a black dude. And that's what caused the friction. So I left So Suave, and I heard about the site called Fast Seduction because there was a guy that was named NY. Let me see if I can find his actual screen name that he used. I went over there to talk to him because I was looking for other people like me that were damn good in the game. I realized I'm amongst a bunch of dweebs and geeks. And recently someone on So Suave, because I still post every now and then, they found out my screen name, or I kind of leaked it out, and they attacked me again. Just like before, I got attacked. Shit never changes, man. And it's usually, it's guys that think they're the big men on these sites. And I come in and they know my reputation, so they start attacking. Like one dude, he was coming after some black dude, and over what the dude said, I said, he's right. He was some type of intellectual dude. Okay, let's see. Documents. No. This guy that I'm talking about that was on Fast Seduction, he had game. And I want to see if he was African American. Because usually that level of game it's a black dude. Okay, documents. I think it's in my document folder. NYC. I just labeled NYC 1. But he had some really good. So I went to Fast Seduction looking for him. Like he was talking about, talking about eliciting values. He writes, I usually downplay my abilities because I downplay everything except how I look. You can't really play that down in a first impression until I elicit her values. She knows nothing about me until I find out what she is looking for. Then I know what to tell her and what to do. That's player. Challenge. Basically, chicks go for a challenge. If a guy is a player, he didn't use the words like fast seducer or so suave or what they call those Don Juans. He said player. If a guy is a player, they try to tame, and I found that tame him. And I found that to be true with me. They knew I was a player, and it complements their ego to be able to land a player. Think about that. Players are the gods of the clubs. The rest of you guys who go to clubs, you're down here with the dweebles. Jovina, go get my cord. I'm getting ready to lose power. So if they can get the god, the guy who has lots of chicks, it makes their ego blow up. I must be the best thing around. I settled this plate out. Jovina. No, I'm talking about you. Don't think her head wasn't up in the clouds when I settled down with her. Am I right or wrong?
In the clouds? What do you mean by in the clouds?
You landed a player. What'd you say? A super player.
That is what I said.
She said, I look like a super player, get any girl in the room. So don't think her ego wasn't on cloud 9 that I, settled down with her. And I don't know my own business. Don't think she wasn't bragging about it to her fucking coworkers. Yeah, he owns his own business. So challenge. If the guy is an AFC, that means average frustrated chump, they try to bring him out of his shell. The whole topic is interesting. Room full of PUAs, one AFC, who gets the attention? Room full of AFCs, one PUA, who gets the attention? Who gets LTR, long-term relationship attention? Who gets one-night stand attention? The player gets a one-night stand attention. Subject of laughter. So he had these really good posts that I had seen. Someone posted this shit on So Suave, and he was from Fast Seduction. I went to Fast Seduction. Fast Seduction it started off, back then they had these special kind of rooms. I don't know how to describe them. They used a special program. It wasn't part of a website. It was like the underweb, and that's where they were communicating. And so this first writes, anyone remember our rivals back then? There was no rivalry. Because Fast Seduction was actually above So Suave. At least the people in Fast Seduction, which created Mystery. That's where Mystery is from, by the way. That's where Owen RSD is from. They didn't go to So Suave, except that's where I met Owen. I was on So Suave because his boy Papa was promoting him on So Suave. And I gave Owen an hour consultation on how to keep women on his side because they were having trouble in that mansion they were renting. You guys are not aware of the history of the PUA leaders. But they were renting a mansion in Los Angeles. And I guess Mystery was depressed because one of them stole his girlfriend and fucked her. Can't trust your own brothers. And I guess Owen was afraid that was going to happen to him. So I talked to him for like an hour. His boy Papa arranged it when I was on So Suave. So I eventually went to Fast Seduction. That's where they were all from. Mystery, Owen, anyone that was anyone in the beginnings of PUAism came off that site. So they were not competitors. They were above. Now, of course, I'm talking about real world game. These guys are talking about theory nerd shit. They had a chat room. And I would go into the chat room to, talk about game. I would talk about game with anybody because I love to talk about the game. I love the game. And if you don't love the game and you got to make it like something like Sarging, I object to the use of the word Sarging. It's not a battle just to go up and talk to women. It should be pleasurable. So anyways, I'm in the chat room and their leaders, of course, the people that they called the top at the time, because Owen and them had grown out of there and they started their little websites and they started doing the coaching. One guy named Mihao, they busted him because he was trying to coach and he only actually had kissed a girl. Now, he was the guy that was promoting pretend like you're gay. And I think he might have been homosexual. For a grown man to only have kissed a girl and then he starts trying to teach and coach. And he came back trying to delete his threads. And then they were all nerds there. So they had already recorded all the shit. They popped the threads back out. Anyways, here I came. And none of them dudes had ever gotten $1 out of a female. And then I show up. So, of course, I ran into resistance. I didn't get attacked a lot, but in fact, you can find my posts on their archive. I've actually downloaded those and I've shared some of those with you guys. In fact, I got to put more on my forum. The things I posted about, they recorded and saved it. I guess I was one of their great posters. I wasn't aware of that because I got pissed off at all the resistance. So I started doing a podcast show. And then I would link the podcast show on the site. I post a link to my newest podcast show on a site called Libsyn. And it was free. All my shows, a lot of my original shows, they were on Libsyn. When I had the battle between sites, yeah, it was on Libsyn with I'm the goddamn Dean, guys. Stevie, I'm the goddamn Dean, playing with his little puppets. That was on Libsyn. So I started the first podcast show in this niche. And it was fun back then. I'll say that much. It was a lot of fun for me. There was some dude named, his screen name was Hung Like a Seahorse, and I nicknamed him Hung Like a Flea. That's why you'll hear me, clown the guy in my first original shows. Those are the good days. Anyway, it goes, there really actually was a lot of good information. In fact, we here at So Suave as DJs were basically an offshoot in a way of the Fast Seduction forums. There was a lot of bleeding over from there, not much. But where we were focused on inner game, they were more focused on outer game. I wish they had been focused on inner game back then. And they would have listened to me on So Suave and got it. Actually, that's not because I had a big following over there. There were a couple of the mods that I had busted were faking it, and they didn't like me. I had this thing about people faking their game. I couldn't stand it. Why do you want to be a big man to people you'll never meet before and fake your game? Why fake it to begin with? Just so you can be a big man on the internet? There's some guy that looked like a kid on that So Suave site, and he looked like he's like 12 years old. He actually tried to come out with some kind of shit years later. You look like you're 12 years old, you eat Snicker bars all day long, and you're trying to teach what? The fellow goes, I looked at the forum, everything leads to an error site. Anyone have a clue what happened to that site? I don't know what happened to the site, because they were the first ones here. Fast Seduction. They're all about speed seduction stuff back then. And they finally realized speed seduction does not work. If a female doesn't like you, see, their idea was you could look like a fucking jackass with a jackass face and jackass ears, basically a nerd. And I could teach you speed seduction, and you go out there and seduce all the 10s. Anybody with an ounce of a brain, ounce of a game, you realize that's just some jackass bullshit. So eventually the shit fell down. They couldn't create anything new out of there, I guess, and eventually it just people lost interest. What happened was a lot of people started opening up sites. There's that MPR something site, Master PUA site. There's tons of forums out there. And of all of them, I would say Fast Seduction. I like that one the best. So yeah, Fast Seduction is gone. Oh, this is a fellow named Julian. He was one of the mods back then. Yeah, he joined in 2003. That's asking the question. He was one of the ones that was, on Team Player Supreme. I actually quoted him recently as one of the few people that had game on the site, as he was talking about yours truly. Someone has a post called Red Flags for Bad Girls. And they read an article on the shit, which I won't go into. Shardmore says, I have photos and videos, cuz. I'm not sure what he's talking about. Let me back up a little bit, because you guys have been talking for a while. Let's see. Women love to show off. Yes. I ran to women. It was surprising. I've got photos of this mulatto. She's bent over. I can see her thing. She sent me another one of her thing with a strawberry on it. She's doing these photos herself. And she refused to sleep with me because she had heard some shit from the other mulatto at the nightclub named Kim. I've talked about that. Kim saw my Burning Man material. And it was this whole story back then. I was out at, I'll give you that story. It involves a transsexual. I was at Starbucks, and I used to, pick up girls in Starbucks. And I picked up what I thought was a chick. And we went back it was stayed at the motel across the street. We went back to the motel. On the way there, some of the voice said, "Are you a transsexual?" Anyways, so I was curious. So I thought I would ask him, why? I was always about getting the life story back then. And so I interviewed the person. Why? Why'd you do this? And the person said, I'd been, that way since I was a kid. And my mother legally changed me to a girl. And then the person told me about the first time they had sex was on the couch. And the guy offered to share him, in other words, with this other dude. And some guy bought him a pair of shoes. I knew how to get people's information out of them. Anyways, then the girl, the MAC makeup chick that I was seeing, started calling. So I said, okay, well, I got to go. I guess I thought I was going to, it had everything cut off also. I was curious about that. It thought I was going to do something with it. I said, no, I don't roll that way. So it got pissed off at me. Anyways, I left after spending 45 minutes talking to him. I went to the club. It might have been a week later, and met Kim, this mulatto there. I'd seen her there before. She was with this older white woman. I didn't realize that was her mother. In fact, it was Jovina told me that was her mother, I think, somebody. Anyways, that's disgusting, going to the club with your mom. I picked up Kim on Thursday. We went home. We had sex. And I dumped her on Tuesday because, was it Tuesday? Because her period started on Wednesday. She knew exactly what day her period would start. And I had someone else coming over on Tuesday. I boned her Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I don't think I had sex with her Sunday. So it actually was Monday she was asking for it. And I had someone else coming over. And we were, I got into a beef with her. I'm busy. And she's like, insistent. You don't demand sex from me. Sex for me was a privilege. And my mistake was, because, she was a mulatto and she had, light skin, freckles, and she had a body. Oh, God. So I wanted to enjoy it for a little while. Thursday, she came by my studio Thursday morning when I was working, met a few clients, which I'd never do. And then she's off to work. She worked right around the corner from my studio. I stopped seeing her. I said, no, because I could predict what a relationship would be like with her from that. And I said, no, we're done. And before then, we were at coffee. That's what it was. We went to Starbucks to some coffee after having sex, and that thing came in and saw me and glared. They came over and said to Kim, be careful with him. And by the way, she knew right away what it was. I didn't, because he had a rib removed at the bottom. So at the waist and the hips and the ass and the tits, it didn't have implants. It had other stuff, injection or something. Anyways, she goes, what the fuck was that? What the fuck was that about? And I told the story. I thought it was a chick. And I talked to her for like 45 minutes and I bounced. But I was also into that other game, pimping or call girl stuff. So that's why, I'm on the lookout. I could tell that was, that was hoeing up. Back in the room, he had a big box of condoms. That's what they do. They get a room and they do the Craigslist shit. They get dates and they were hoeing up. And I was looking for, new potentials at the time. So Kim, also, I showed her my Burning Man video. My boy Craig and I, we went to Burning Man. We were working for PBS station, Channel 6. And I was a single guy. I worked in a dance studio. Women would leave their towels there. I'm cheap. I'm not going to buy no goddamn towels. And they were nice, big, fluffy towels. We got women buy the good towels. So they had their laws of fact. I could go there and get the towels out and take them home and, bleach them out and use them. So we had this RV. We didn't know any goddamn thing about putting propane so you could heat the fucking water up. So taking a shower was like a joke between us. We go in there, take a shower, we scream like bitches, and then get out. And we, videotape each other screaming. It was like fun. Dudes. So anyway, Craig screams like a motherfucker in the shower. We're laughing and giggling, and he gets out with a pink towel. I guess she saw the pink towel, and I told her where the towel was from. It was left at the dance studio. So she was thinking, okay, well, that thing approached us, and then your friend had a pink towel. So she's spreading the rumor around the club that I was a fucking faggot. You guys know how I feel about faggotry. So Desiree, she heard that. And it took a while for me to bone her because she kept saying, no, I heard you were gay. I heard you were gay. I heard you were gay. I was like, Desiree, no, come on. So eventually I finally got Desiree during the daytime. She would call me up. She would keep, she would still come around. In fact, Jovina.
Yes.
Remember the time you went to the bathroom and Desiree came sniffing around?
Yeah, like a puppy dog.
Yeah, see, she was still sniffing around after I boned her once, and I only boned her once. And because she made it so hard, I didn't go back. Plus, her underarms didn't smell good. She didn't use deodorant or something that day. I don't like people that don't smell clean. So I boned that one time, got her off a few times and bounced, and I never did again. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. See, I'm old now. I can share stories with you. That was my run-in with a transsexual that caused a mulatto spread rumors around a nightclub about me, how I got around it, how I survived it and overcame it. You know, women, she was mad because I broke up with her, so she spread these dirty rumors. Truly enlightened. What's up? David, Supreme, can you talk through the difficulties you had in starting your own business? I didn't have difficulties. One of my women bought my equipment for me. And I set up in the aerobic studio that I was teaching at, and I had instant clients. I've never suffered or struggled. Now I'm struggling because there's like a train on every goddamn corner now. Now I struggle. But now I don't want to train in real life. I'm trying to, look into training online. Luther, no disrespect, I'm lost, dog. I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm lost. Oh, you're being lost. I have no idea what you're talking about. Why you keep talking to it when you found out it was a man? Okay. I have a curious mind. Okay. If you know anything about me, you guys know that I look at everything. All right. I had a very curious mind back then. Like, why would you do that to yourself? Why would a man cut his dick off? I want to know why. I'm not just a black dude that smokes weed. If you look over there, I got a ton of books. Okay, I'm not just a black dude like you're used to dealing with. So I'm curious about, why do gays exist? I've had long debates and long arguments over it. I'm curious about lesbians. Why the fuck they got to dress like us? I ask questions. As I ask questions about the church. As I learn to go do research to learn the truth about the church. So you're on the site of an intelligent black man. Intelligent black men, we ask questions. Also, I was pimping. Okay. Now, the thing didn't admit when I said, "Are you a transsexual?" And it got kind of funny. What made you say that? It wasn't until I got it out of it later on. And it was the voice. But I've heard, Jovian has a voice like that, that's raspy. So anyways, I'm curious. I'm curious, why would a man cut his dick off? I want to know. Where'd that come from? Okay? Nothing suspect. True light. Really, Supreme, you had a lot of gay encounters. I'm pretty old. There are a lot of gays out there. But I didn't have gay encounters. Did she know Craig wasn't gay at the time. He was on the fence. Let's see. Luther, what the fuck is going on? I'm out of here. Good. Let's get rid of this dude. And Eric, Luther, he's not gay. Relax. Dime Star. Use your common sense, Luther. I banned him. If he couldn't listen to my story, because I already know I'm not gay. No, but I'm curious. I've always fought against homosexuality in this community. And I try to understand, why are homosexuals sneaking around here? And I realized they're looking for men that are confused. But I had enough curiosity to ask, why does this guy sing gay? And then to get the answer. Unfortunately, black people, American blacks, we lack the intelligence to ask questions. Like, why were people wearing their clothes backwards with cross colors? I had enough intelligence to question why, and then I came to the answer. It was a social experiment of white people learning to control the black race. If you go back and study that time period, you see it's actually true. They had gained control of our rap companies. And it was a little white man that had these kids wear their clothes backwards to try to introduce something new. So they were different than other ones, but also it affected the black community. Kids were starting to wear their clothes backwards. All right. YG Supreme, I know this might be off subject, but why do most occasional males get into cuckold shit and get off seeing their wife with a man, usually a black man? Now, this I didn't have knowledge on, but Grease 2000 gave me knowledge on it. And he had actually talked to a white man about that. And I wish he was around so he could explain it. Where he's at, if he's alive, because that storm has hit the islands out there. Hope he survives it. Maybe he'll, if he ever gets an internet connection, he can come back in and talk about that. It's an interesting scenario. White men, he said, have a fear of black power, the power that black men have over women in bed, and a fascination with it. Like he was talking about this cuckold party he was at, and the white men would take the wives in these bedrooms and fuck their wives, and they would peek open through the door and watch. And one of the white men took him aside and explained it to him. Cuckolding really comes out of Europe. It's actually a European word as well. And the whole thing goes back in time. If you remember, the rich people had power over the peasants. The kings had power over the rich. And that's where the whole BDSM field came out of. One of my women bought me, there used to be a site called steeldoor.com. And she delved into the history of BDSM. And it's a European thing. Beating ass, whipping ass, and all that kind of stuff. It had to do with the different levels of white society they had. They had the kings, the dukes, you guys know all that stuff. And the only person who was dominant was the man at the top. All the rest of them, they were dominant to their submissives, but they'd be submissive to the king. So it was all about the psychology of submissiveness. I'm not white, so I didn't quite understand all of it. Also, I'm not into that whole genre of fetishness. I wish I could explain it to you more, but I just can't grasp it. Basically, submissiveness and all that stuff. But notice I was curious enough to ask questions to find out why. YG 400 Supreme. I know this. Okay. YG, I've been Caucasian. David Supreme, you have a lot of patience. There are a lot of losers. That fellow that came in, he didn't know me. He didn't know who I was. He didn't know what I was talking about. You guys that know me know that I'm how I am. He left another comment, and once I banned him, he may have had an understanding comment. I didn't get to it. Sorry, Luther. Sorry. You came at me the wrong way. This is not a fag channel. I don't do faggotry here. Never done faggotry. And I don't even rant about them anymore like I used to. And I used to wonder, see, I asked the question why, and I found an answer how homosexuality got into, and see if you guys, this fits, how homosexuality, the energy of it got into mankind. Now, we know that European society started in the caves, correct? Europeans are out of the caves. Think about it like this. And I know it seems like I'm trying to blame something on white folks, but I'm just trying to get to the base where the energy started. You're in the cave, and the women are pregnant, plus having sex with a woman through her vagina produces another mouth to feed. Think now, fellas. That's not good. You produce another mouth to feed. It's already hard enough to feed who's there, the few families that are in that cave. So, and these are males, white males that need sexual pleasure. What's left? Little boys and little girls. They know at an age where a little girl is going to start her periods. That means she can now become impregnated. So what part of her body doesn't produce a child and of the little boy? Now, everything is energy. So that's where I believe, and other people believe, the energy of homosexuality started as a natural byproduct of, male sexual drive, needing to get off. And it fits. Now, if we study, because I'm curious, I like to learn things, quantum physics. As we learn in quantum physics, once something is here, it's all over. So once that energy is established, of course, it's spread to every energy of man underneath. If you know anything about morphic fields, I tried to teach that earlier. There's a morphic field for man. Under man, we have the different types of man. Each one has its own little morphic field. That's where they believe that your DNA gets its memory from. Its instincts is from that morphic field. So we have the umbrella of man. We have black man, we have white man, we have Asian man, American Indian, which is actually an umbrella under Asian man. We have all the different types of man, but each group has its own little morphic field. Okay, the history of American Indian man is not the history of East Indian man. They cannot, their DNA cannot draw on each other's history or DNA. Now, white people have proven that if they had trauma in their past, it does affect their DNA of the future. So the trauma of a Native American's past is not the trauma of a white man's past. So that actually supports the whole morphic field thing. Now, these people in the caves started having sex up the ass with little boys and girls. That's now an energy. Goes up the chain, spreads to all the rest of it. Think about that. And you'll realize that there's some truth to it. Not blaming homosexuality on white folks, it just is. Eric Supreme. I got the SAS survival book, really. It teaches you how to survive anywhere in the world. I think I have a PDF of that on my old computer. My college roommate is willing to drive me up to a camping site or wilderness in PA to practice survival skills. Okay. I know you got to
have fun.
No, I know it's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
no. I'm good. I'll take care of my own lunch. Jovina is going. Her parents sold their ranch. Gave Jovina $10,000. He's doing another 10 grand. When's your dad gonna give you that 10 grand anyway?
Huh?
When's your dad gonna give you that other 10 grand?
I don't know. It's safely tucked away for everybody, me and everybody else.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's his to give when he wants. It's
yeah.
there. I know it's going to be. I know he promises he's going to get it. So.
Yeah. So it'd be nice when he does. I got used for that.
I'll keep the bedroom door closed because I cleaned that up already in there.
Gotcha.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Eric also says, do I still need to pay for a survival course? Can I just finish reading the book and practice it out there? Okay, book knowledge and real world knowledge are two different things. You'll get out there, you'll see how to do a bow drill to start a fire, and you'll be out there and sit in the dark. You need real world knowledge versus book knowledge, okay? I'd recommend for your own safety, take a survival course. I'm not sure why you want to go down that path. I think it has something to do with your inferiority complex. You feel inferior as a man, but if it helps you to feel better as a growing male, I recommend it. Whatever it takes to make you feel more masculine. But you need real world knowledge. Like I wouldn't go out there expecting to create a bow drill and start a fire. I can't do it. I would suggest you take at least a tarp with you and, do the whole lean-to tarp thing, or take a hammock and put the tarp over the hammock and Take some matches, of course, or a lighter, so you can start a fire. You know, get a lot of videos, watch how they start the fire. Take some food with you. You're not going to try to live off the land, are you? You'll starve to death. Take some food with you, okay? And just go out there. You start by, at the baby steps, by camping out. You may be scared shitless. Remember I told you about on that survival show, this black dude bragged about, I'm in the army, man. I can do this shit. And he was an embarrassment to the entire black race. He lasted a couple of hours before he called in. Now I'm embarrassed by this white guy. They're now doing families, you know, a brother and brother, or father and son, or even women and husbands, couples. And this white guy's son only lasted a few hours. And he called it quits. He lost his father's chance to get $500,000. But hey, black dudes, we've lost touch with nature. We don't have the skills. In fact, African guys, you guys ain't got the skills anymore either. So you got to be careful going out there. Okay? That Luther isn't that bright. Yeah, he's probably on some, you know, weed smoking shit. Thought I'd be some weed smoking player dude. Like you guys can see, you know, what black dude reads about quantum physics? One that's curious, like to learn shit. So I wanted to learn, you know, where's homosexuality from? In the book, it teaches bushcraft. That's cool. Chris James, practice survival with the group. That's how primitive couples did it. Good advice. On the other channel, I had this lesbian get mad at me because I put gays down. And I tried to explain to her that it's their energy. Because I come at everything from energy. I've always have. I'd go into a club, I'd feel what is the energy like of the club? What's the energy like of this person? So I always approach the game from an energetic level. I didn't approach it from just the physical level of eyesight. It was all about energy for me. How do they feel? And homosexual energy does not feel right to me. And I've been to gay clubs. Well, my girlfriend that was, or not girlfriend, but yeah, she actually was a girlfriend. She was a MAC makeup artist. She would do some of their makeup and shit. And I would go to the club with her to keep an eye on her. I was a control freak. So I've been to a gay club before. And I'm not afraid to admit that. I used to go to outside the door of gay clubs when I left the clubs because they had a hot dog vendor. And that's where I met a chick there. Hidden secret, fellas, is that girls go to gay clubs, they are starving for male attention. Because gay guys are into themselves. They're their gay friends. This was going on back in the 90s and early 2000s. So they're starved for male attention. I told you about the chick. She was 6'3". Yeah, she was 6'3". She was up for the Olympics in swimming. I'm outside getting a hot dog. She's with her gay friend. And I start talking to her for a few minutes because I talk to people around me. Lesbians would talk to me and make their dyke girlfriends jealous. And anyway, that was one of the fastest lays I've ever had. Because I just say, hey, you want to hook up? Because her friend, Chris, his name was Chris too, he had met a black dude that was trying to impersonate Dave Chappelle's voice. And I told you guys, you know, and they're fucking her on their living room floor, and he comes out the bath or out the bedroom. Ooh, my ass hurts. And my dick went, phew. It killed my heart on. So True Line says, you had a lot of gay shit. You couldn't get away from the shit if you were clubbing in my town. It's like At one time, people were trying to be bisexual, I think. And they would come to the straight clubs. The swingers were coming to straight clubs as well. And I consider the swingers like bisexuals myself. Because the women are bisexual. Because they want to fuck each other while the dudes got to sit to the side. So they would come to straight clubs looking for straight people. You couldn't escape this shit at one point in Sacramento. That's why Jovi and I, we want friends. And we talk about it. I wish she was here. She'd tell you. We're afraid that we're going to run into some couple that want to have sex. We want to do a camping group, get with people that camp. And we're afraid that they're going to turn into some freaks. That happened to me a lot when I was with the Mac makeup chick. There's this group called the Society of Creative Anachronisms. And they're the white folks who go out there, can't get over the jousting time of Europe, and they talk in that language. Privity, they're varlet, and they do jousting shit, and they carry their swords around, and they try to be these, uber knights of the round table type of nonsense. It'll be some fucking freaks. Now, the Mac makeup girl, she had implants, and she looked like a fucking porn star. And the chicks were trying to fuck her. We went up to one of their campsites up out of Sacramento, and we got the fuck out of there. The dudes were kind of looking at me, and the chicks were looking at her. We laughed all the way home. We got the fuck out of there. White folks, you guys can be some freaks when you start doing that shit. I urge you, white guys, don't get involved in that shit. But I also used to go to Renaissance fairs, shit like that, when I was with the bodybuilding chick. There's a photo of me eating one of the big turkey leg button things. I think I showed it to you guys. What's up, Remo? Let's see, Eric. I'm in college. I haven't masturbated in 4 weeks. No porn. Women was saying hello to me when I first reached campus. It's about me choosing. Why didn't you talk to them? Also, I say hello to females now. Good. Now you need to start holding conversations. See, it was in college that I got my first girlfriend, Eric. It's where I really started growing the game because I was starting to talk to more chicks. I made it my mission. And because I was a bookworm, I would go to the library to meet chicks, as I told the story before. And I met my ex-wife there. True life. Supreme, my ex sent me a message on Facebook saying she misses me and wanted to know if I would help her write a paper. Sure, she misses you, but no, says she wants you to help her write a paper. Right. Okay, and wanted to know if I would help her write a paper. Do you think I should use this opportunity to get her attention back? I can only answer for myself. She's been sucking some other dude's dick. She's been taking that dick into her. She's been taking another man's energy into her and doing all the freaky shit she wouldn't do with you. She let that man totally run her down and break her back and sweat her out and make her grunt. Picture her getting a big dick up in her ass and taking it and all the things she wouldn't do for you. Picture that for a moment. Picture my dick in her ass and I'm talking shit to her. And her being all feminine and soft and nice and doing whatever I say. And loving it. See, that's how I think. If she, got with other dudes, I don't want other dudes' energy upon me. I guess understand when I first meet, it's a competition of energy. Again, there's that energy thing, fellas. I told you I come from energy. But after that, she got pissed off at me and you won't settle down. So she's going to pay me back. And I had women do that to me. Pay me back for having all these other women. And I did that. I let them back in. And I realized this is not good. I don't like the feeling of other men been there. Like she might do something different. You never did that before. Oh, shit. Now I'm thinking about her doing that with some other dude. So maybe I've got a weak mind. I'm just weak. I don't know, but it just doesn't work for me. If you think it's a good thing, go for it. If she said she missed you, it sounds, and then she wants to do a paper for her. Basically, you're going to do the work. Basically, you will do the work. And you want to be her punk, her boy, knock yourself out, man. See, I got to be careful giving you advice, man. For me, it's just not the way I roll. I would have moved on, but you haven't moved on yet. And if you think it's going to work a second time, for me, it wouldn't work a second time. For me, I know, wait a minute, you said you missed me. And now you ask me to do what? If we're on the phone, click. I like to reverse that. If she wants back in, she's got to pay. Who thinks I'm talking shit and I'm lying? Put in there if you think I'm talking shit and I'm lying about what I just said. I like to make them pay. Most guys know I'm telling the truth. It's that Luther dude that he's probably still watching, but he's on the outside now. See, I'm glad I saved everything when I started talking to guys online. This bitch went her own way, as you guys have seen this many times before. Say you're sorry, bitch. She thought she could find what I had in other men, but she couldn't feel it. I cannot feel their manhood, their being. How in tune I am to that. I left the original mistake in there. You know how in tune I am to that. Yes, Daddy. Put some money into my account again. You want back in, you got to pay. The doctor bitch, she did the same thing. She found out that I was cheating, as you would call it. That I was, I was playing. Let's see, more on the mouthpiece, more game. Problem is I don't have my glasses on. Hold on. This one? No, it wasn't this one. Well, if you guys who have been with me for a while, you remember the conversation between the doctor and I. She was mad. Yeah. She found out that I had other women. And in that conversation, she came over and sucked my dick. And I was going to show proof of that. Problem is I can't remember what it was titled. Look. Beginning pimping. One of these days I have to release all these on my site. This is the original copy. The copy that's on my computer doesn't have all the original stuff in it. I just moved this over to this computer about a year ago. Oh, well, never mind. So the doctor female, she wanted to buck up, and she was mad. What'd she say? All you men do is hurt me, or some shit like that. And at the end, I talked her into coming over and sucking my dick. As I told her, I said, you need to learn how to do it anyway. You guys remember that one? Ah, copying. No, it wasn't copying. One of the strongest traits of a player. Well, the strongest traits of a player / seducer / pimp, whatever, is his ability to use words. Success depends on your ability to stop thinking about what you want from that person and concentrate on what they want and what you can do to help her get it. Remember the saying, a pimp sells a dream. He finds out what the woman's dreams are and convinces her that by joining his ship, she can sail away to her dreams. When you look at spitting your game from this perspective, you no longer have to think about what to say to conversate. It becomes a natural process of uncovering her wants and desires, basic salesmanship. When you guide and control the conversation, you will gain power over her. Disraeli once said, men govern with words. Basic salesmanship psychology tells us that people in general have about 14 needs. 1, sense of power or mastery. 2, ego gratification. Pride or importance. 3, financial success. 4, recognition. 5, social or group approval. 6, desire to win or be the first to excel. 7, a sense of belonging to or roots. 8, creative expression. 9, new experiences. 10, and all the way to 14, finish up with emotional security, not to mention self-esteem, dignity, and self-respect. When you're seducing a woman, when you show her how to achieve her hidden desires, you have power over her. And this works for if you're trying to build a cult following as well. She will follow you and do almost anything for you. It is your goal during your convo to find out her dominant needs. To do this, you have to get into her mind to find out what she really wants. You need to learn exactly what actually makes her as a person tick. You need to find the secret motivators that really turn her on. This is game at a whole nother level. There are 5 areas or guidelines to concern yourself with. And I list the 5 guidelines. I really got to start sharing this with my forum. Feed her ego, but don't put her on the pedestal, and the rest of the guidelines. The 5 W's. Spitting your game on a woman. Just take an active interest in her life story and her needs, and you'll have tons of women at your beck and call, literally. I am walking proof of this. As you've seen my proof in my I am convos and emails. Most of you guys got to learn how to talk to women. That's your weakness. That's why I'm glad I saved all this stuff, so I can show you. What's up, Chris? Show you examples of what I've done. It looks like Remo smashed the chick that asked for him to buy her some flowers or some shit. Okay, now True Light is saying She says the reason she cheated because she was confused and just needed time to herself and wanted to focus on school. I think she was single while we were apart. Okay, True Enlightened. So you finally got the reason why she cheated. And I can see maybe confused. I'm sorry, I'm a bit on the harder side. I'm a bit more on the doubting side. And I'm not that easily fooled. Let me go back to where, your conversations are starting. I left off. That Luther isn't that bright. No, he's not. He's a typical brother. He was bringing that brother, flavor, although his language was fucked up, but too bad. Hubert, did you live with your parents when you got trapped by your ex-wife? Yes, I did. I was 19 years old. Of course I did. I was just starting college. He's asking me the question, did I live with my parents when I got trapped by my ex-wife? My ex-wife, she was my girlfriend. I hadn't moved in with her. I was just going to their fucking. My mom did give me a choice, either there or my house. And I was going back and forth between both. It was kind of sad when I did move out. I'm thinking about, the clothes I had in my closet. I didn't have very many clothes. I remember thinking that. And my little couple pairs of tennis shoes. Didn't have any dress shoes. Didn't have anything, really. That's why I was a clothes fanatic. I have more clothes than Jovina. I've always had more clothes than Jovina. But anyways, Eric, Chris, they're talking. Lone Survivor shit is for TV and movies. Eric Supreme, I'm in college. I've done that. True Enlightened someone. Supreme, my ex, yeah, I got that. Okay, Eric. He talked to two girls trying to hook up. I had a convo with them, but the first one didn't text back. She wasn't down. You try this over text, Eric? Please say you didn't try this over text. You try to get a girl to come over that you had never boned before? Over text? Try it in person next time because you want to develop your personality. So you can use the text the right way. Eric, my conversation skills need work. I'm still in my head. That's okay. It's going to take time, but don't stop doing it. I struggle digging deeper and getting them to let their hair down. Don't worry about that. That's my problem with showing guys like you, Eric, the level that I reach, because you're striving for that level. And you're forgetting that you grow there in stages. Okay? So just work at the stage you're at. Don't worry about shit. Okay? Stop trying to reach for the stars, so to speak. Abdul Supreme, thank you for the Ab Blaster program. I'm starting to see my abs come in. Good. Okay, True Light, the reason why she cheated, because she was confused. I'm a doubting Thomas type there, truly. But let's just say she's being truthful with you. I just needed some time to herself. Basically, she needed time to suck other guys' dicks. See, there's my doubting mind. Take it in the ass, get freaky, while you're playing Comic-Con anime shit. She want to be up under some men shit. Boy shit, men shit. Boy shit, men shit. Get handled by a man. There's this thing that women have, being handled by a man. That's their word, by the way. Their phrase. I like getting handled by men. Just basically they become submissive. Now picture her becoming submissive to some dudes. And you know how, white dudes are. They're going to do her, not even give her a chance to, please her. I'm not saying all white guys. I'm just talking to Trudy, trying to get them to envision something. Okay, Eric and Chris. Good advice, Chris. Take real interest in them. Find something interesting about them that you wouldn't mind hearing about. Good. Okay, let's see. They're chit-chatting. Hubert, what advice would you give to someone who's trapped? I don't know what you mean by trapped. You can't give me a fraction of what you're talking about, expect me to figure it out. What do you mean by trapped? Is that person done in the game? What do you mean by trapped? Remo, Supreme, I noticed that after I smashed this chick, I played basketball a little bit differently. I felt a little bit stronger and more aggressive than usual. That means your testosterone level came up. I would get that too after smashing a new chick. I just feel good. True Lighten, I will use the opportunity to show her things have changed and I'm more of a player. I hope you do. Don't let her go back to the old you. It's the old you that produced her, wanting to cheat on you. Eric Supreme, on the text, I asked her to go for a run at 8 p.m. You see my face, right? Go for a run? Was she a runner? Did she enjoy running? Did she know you that where you wouldn't get her somewhere quiet and rape her? Did she know you that well? If she was a runner? If she's not a runner, you asked the wrong shit. Let me know, was she a runner? I'm just kind of curious if you are that blind. Yes, she was a runner. Okay. Now, does she know you enough to where she would feel comfortable going on a run with you? Let me share with you one of the mistakes a new guy on my forum made in communicating to chicks. Now, I've already done a video on this for the forum. You guys who are on the forum, Chris, you guys know about the conversation help post Braxton put up. Got to make sure that, you guys can't see anything. Now, Braxton, he's doing the robotic thing, asking the same question of every chick. And he's also hoe chasing online. So he says to this chick, so often does, well, that's his opener thing, the mom of the group get to have fun. Ha ha, ha ha, ha ha, ha. And she replies, typical mom response. She wrote typical mom response. Watching my kids have fun is the same as me having fun. And I actually learned something with that, her comment. I didn't know that either. She taught me something, that comment there. In all honesty, not very often, but I try to make it a point every once in a while. Now, he goes, LOL, don't mind my cheesy jokes. Where are you from? And then she gives it, the area where she's from. That wasn't too bad, but he has these cheesy things that he asks. And I'm looking for that. Okay, they're talking about where they're from, blah, blah. Let's get to the next one. He threw out her number after that. And he was wondering why she didn't seem like she didn't say anything. She didn't say one thing. And he immediately says, you're not sure of calling me. But he had this coined response. of saying, I'm new to this whole plenty of fish thing, but it seems fun. How long have you been on? And he does that with most of the females. With his OKC Cupid stuff, he asks the inappropriate shit or the weird shit of, God damn, what was that shit? Would you like to live forever? Or would you prefer to be invisible? Would you rather live forever or have the ability to turn invisible whenever you want? Hint, there's only one correct answer. And the woman said, be invisible for sure. And he goes, wrong. Ha ha. He is now the worst online communicator I've ever seen in my life. And I've seen a lot of dudes' attempts to communicate with girls online, and he now gets the title of being the worst. And the girl on the next one says, the other one, he goes, wrong. I don't know where he got this corny shit from, but he's been trying this on every chick out there with online communication. And you got to be able to develop rapport with women online, whether it's texting or DM stuff. You want to develop some type of rapport, Eric. You want to develop conversation skills to where you can really get to try to know her. Then you got to get in person. You suggested a running date. I suggested maybe meet for a Jamba Juice. You guys are in college. Maybe coffee ain't the thing. A Jamba Juice. If you do well with the texting, if you can get her to laugh a little bit, get her to relax a little bit, get her to kind of think, oh, he's kind of interesting. Then you could meet her over Jamba Juice and really show her your real personality. Not this personality that you show us, this guy that's afraid of everybody, afraid of being alive, that wants to go do this survival stuff to prove that he's a man. You shouldn't have to do that, by the way, to prove you're a man. But the real person that you are inside. We all have a person inside that's already empowered. We just got to uncover him and let him free. That makes sense. I'm waiting for Hubert to tell me what trap means. Hubert, I asked a question. Let's see. Let me scroll down. Oh, yes, here we go. By trapped, I mean when a girl gets pregnant on purpose so that she can feed off you for life. Did that happen to you? By the way, you could have prevented that if it did by using a condom. Hubert. And it's not feed for life. It's your responsibility to take care of your child. You're African. Why do you sound like you're African American? That's what black dudes in this country do. I didn't know that that disease had transferred over to you guys too, where you don't want to honor your own child that you created. And this must be something very new within your group, because it started in my group, African Americans. I'm told by an older black, it started when he came back from Vietnam. It was just getting started. Now 73% of our black females. So it took two of you guys to lay down to create that baby. Whether she was trying to get pregnant or not, then that's your belief. I don't believe every female, and that happened to me, but I don't believe every female out there is trying to do all that. It's not me, it's someone I know. Okay. Okay. Your game isn't necessarily over because she's pregnant. You don't have to marry like I did. As long as that person, that man, is still involved in that child's life, and still helps support the child. Okay. That's the important thing. You don't have to do what I did and suffer eight plus years being in a relationship that you didn't want to be in. Jay Henry. It's kind of hard to have a serious convo with chicks online. I've never had a problem. Everyone is so vain, so I don't really go beyond simple convos. I know it's bad, but it's frustrating when you're having literally a startup convo every hour. I don't know what you mean by startup, unless you're trying to talk to chicks every hour in the hour. But I've never had a problem having serious conversations. And I don't want to have all serious conversations, by the way. I want to have just a conversation. Because conversations can go deep and they can go light. They go funny, they can go serious. I'm really pleased that Chris is trying to help Eric out. I wish all the guys on my forum would try to spread the knowledge. Again, I still challenge every so-called guru out there to prove me wrong about women doing the choosing. Uh-oh. I got a troll come in. Leave a comment. Someone named Red Rum. White power! This came in through my regular comment system on one of my old videos. Let's see. It takes only a moment to ban them. I'm going to have to... I don't want to put white in my... I have a certain string of words that I can use to immediately shut people to my spam folder. And I don't want to put, white as one of the words and power. So I'm just going to ban the dude. Don't know why he came in just to say that. Maybe I said something in that old video. Maybe I always like to make fun of those white racists. White power! And maybe he saw me do that. Maybe he's actually, I don't know, but you still get the ban. I'm not going to take a chance. Because he didn't explain himself. And let's go ahead and delete the comment. All gone. I'm reading, hey, it's a black guy's comment on this video. It's really sad. He was saying the majority of my family is Creole on my dad's side. He's black, but very light-skinned. My mother was just about your complexion. Creoles are really hooked on this skin color thing. I remember my niece, who's dark-skinned, went to visit him. He told her, "You're too dark for my family." I was kind of disgusted by that remark, but he's a big asshole. I guess his father was in the picture. That's really too bad. My dad actually told that to me about meeting his father. To me and my little brother. Said we were too dark. After let's see if I can show you guys a video of my dad's relatives. After seeing the video of them, I see what he's talking about, but still has some fucked up shit to say. It's my dad's brother's daughter. I love that country accent.
Yeah, and I'm from Cleveland, Ohio.
That's my other cousin talking.
Okay, you from Ohio?
No, Atlanta, born and raised in Atlanta.
Good. It's so scary.
That's her sister.
See, that's what made you come back.
Oh, I came to get Joanne's daughter some flowers.
Your parents sent it down that you would come.
Now, I'm actually young, on the young side, as I said, of my family.
Watch her. It's like on the right. And then across the road is the cemetery.
Okay.
Yeah, just across on the dirt road is the cemetery.
I think he's digging her.
First one.
And he's dating my cousin.
When we get lost, we're going to call you.
Oh, okay. That's good.
But they all got that country accent back there.
Got a little bit on the Arnett side. Okay. Alan Lewis Arnett, born September 6, 1876.
And it's, you know, it's hard to believe that I had a grandfather. My grandfather was born in the 1800s. It always seemed weird to me growing up. But she told the story of, hold on. No, I don't want singers. That's when he tried to rape her friend. Yeah, her mother and my dad didn't carry pistols, but his brothers did, and so did his sisters. And they were getting ready to shoot each other one time. You got to remember, these are backwoods people, you know, country, way down deep in Georgia. Yeah, Uncle Ulysses. Okay, so my dad's family was a different kind of family. That's all I could say. These are my dad's mother's family. These people here. His side had a certain look to them. They're all, you know, they're light-skinned, and then his mom was dark-skinned, just like my mom is. And you see the Native American in their hair, or Caucasian, whatever it is. But family's family. She was telling the story of how her and one of her sisters went to visit my grandfather in a rest home. And there was a white man laying next to him. Yeah, he hunted that guy for 7 years and killed him. But the white man, you know, they came to visit their grandfather, and he asked, you know, who's these niggers up in here? And my grandfather told her that don't worry about him. He ain't gonna be here tomorrow. And she started talking about how she came back next day and the bed was all made and just as smooth as can be. And it turned out my grandfather smothered him, the old white man, with a pillow. And I'd heard that, you know, if you were dark skinned, he didn't like you, which wasn't true. It was from my father. It was bullshit my dad told me. They had no problem with, you know, his black family. On that note, it's about time for me to roll. Don't want to share too much of my family with you guys. Plus, you guys don't give a fuck anyway. Down there, we saw that rebel flag flying in people's front yards, because they would have these, you know, large properties, homes sit back from the property, and then in the front there's a flagpole, and we were driving by looking at the rebel flag. What the fuck? That's when we knew we were in the South, And I like Georgia. Yes, I liked Georgia. Cool Bear. The trip was interesting. A lot of fucking driving, but we finally got to the destination. I got to meet all these people. Their relatives, but no males. I'm the last. Yeah, I am. Actually, I have a half brother. My dad had another son. But we're the last Arnett males of that generation. So we're now the older set. And I'm at the bottom of age because my dad was the baby of all those 11 whatever kids. So that's why I have a grandfather that was born in the 1800s because, my grandfather was fucking till he was in his 90s, trying to rape a woman at 99. Anyway, there are no males Arnetts. So I guess Lavelle is a year older than I am. I've never met him. I was going to try to meet him on the way back, but we had to get back. I don't think he's doing too well either. You can't seem to keep up with the guy. So anyways, I'm the oldest, second oldest male Arnett left of this generation. But I did discover another branch of the family. I got on Facebook and came in contact with a John Arnett. Same thing, they're usually light-skinned. I'm the darker one of the group, light-skinned, and he had fit the same profile. Also, he ended up being of my grandfather's second black family, and that's where he came from. He had two white families, two black families, and so this John Arnett is from that one. So we're all related. Man was busy. He did a lot of fucking. They're cool bit there. Jay, yeah, thanks, Chris. He's talking to Chris. I'm trying to read through and ignore you guys' conversation. Okay, I missed a lot of shit. You jelly, what's up? Like the hell, I don't. I'm really happy you have more family you didn't know about. Yeah, they're all females, and they're all Jesus freaks also. So I don't really fit in. On the third day of the whole thing, there's supposed to be a big thing at their church. We took off. So we got to go. I think my one cousin I just showed in the video, I think she's bad because I didn't really say goodbye to her when I left. Oops. And I need to write her actually on Facebook to say thanks for having us down. I'm sorry I left I forgot to say goodbye. I was focused on getting out of there. I need to apologize. But I learned about my grandfather. He was a handful. And remember, they lived in the backwoods. So the people that he killed, nobody searched for him. He did work as a bounty hunter. I guess it's true. Slavery didn't end in 1865 like they thought. It still went. Actually, variations of it still went on. Jay, I used to be brainwashed and thought that flag represented a part of me. Jay, are you black? I thought you were black, Jay. If you're white, that flag represents betrayal of the United States of America. It also represents slavery. Again, I'm curious. I ask questions. I try to understand also. And I try to see their side of it. You got free access. I try to think like they would think. My free pussy is gone, and my free labor is gone. Pussy and money. Two things important to white people. Pussy and money to white men. Free pussy, especially after you produce enough lighter offspring on them. You can go ride that. Let's say you fuck the first one, then you fuck the second one and the third one. That one's like a quarter quarter black, so it looks pretty white. So you got a white slave, basically. You can fuck her anytime you want. Think about that. And that's what they did. Also, free labor. All you got to do is feed them some slop, give them some rags to clothe them in. I try to understand, why. And the people of that time period were not as moral as we are today. I asked you the question, Jay, were you black or are you white? Eric is still talking. If I missed your comment, sorry. I just took over where it landed. So the next question, or my only question, is to Jay as to his nationality. I'd be very surprised if he was black, because I didn't realize there were blacks that really liked that flag. There was a couple of weirdos that were on the white racist side. I've seen videos of them, and they're standing with the KKK. But those are self-haters. Jay, if you could. Step up, Jay. So I can close out the show. I'm Dominican, but down south I was practically black. So basically, you're a Dominican with African roots. I hear you guys don't like to call yourselves black. I mean, I kind of don't blame you, the condition of black society, but black is black. Down south, I was practically black. When I moved up here, the South never really left. And at the time, rappers even had it in their videos. So I thought it was cool and wanted a flag for my room. I was uneducated to the complete history back then. You sound like you're uneducated to your own history. Those islands out there is where they had a lot of slaves. In Dominica, what caused you to not want to identify with black was because one of your El Presidentes, who was actually half black, used to wear white makeup. He instilled within your group, because he worshiped Spain and he wanted to be pure white or pure Spanish. He's the reason why you guys started the whole "I'm not black, I'm Dominican" thing. I think Chris Tucker is Dominican also. And a black, pure black Dominican. But you guys did a lot of, like here in America, a lot of intermixing. They had slaves. Down there, we would go to Stone Mountain and they would play up the heroism of it. I was done. Well, at least you're enlightened now. You know the truth. Yes, Trujillo. I'm aware of that. And Tucker is Haitian. Ah, okay. He's the other side. I thought he was Dominican. Props if he's Haitian. Then that's a group I can admire. The things they did in the past. Not currently, but the things they did in their past. So basically, your past is all intertwined. And I kind of feel sorry for your group. Yeah, I'm aware of the split island. based on color. He says there's a split on the island based on color. Yeah. I understand the other side is crossed over to your side to get jobs, better work, and you guys are stopping them at the border practically. There's a lot of hatred towards African roots. Hopefully one day there'll be a reason to be proud. And all that stuff will drop away, There are blacks in all those South American countries as well. Trujillo was notorious for massacre Haitians back then. Trujillo. Let's just call him Three Hoes. Trujillo. Yeah, I saw that in a video, how bad he was. He had some deep insecurity. No offense to Chris James, but they have a phrase they use in the black community called the tragic mulatto. And many, not Chris James here, but some of them have identity crisis issues. And he was one of them. Again, fellas, notice I can have a conversation on this subject because I'm curious about things and I learn things. If I was talking to a Dominican woman, I would know stuff about her country's past. So I could have a conversation with her. I'm not some weed smoking black dude like that guy that I banned earlier probably thought I was. DR had to disassociate from Haiti because of the Haitians Revolution. You jelly. I came across a documentary on YouTube about the devil's breath. Some scary shit they were saying if it was true. I don't know what the devil's breath is. Haiti was the first free black country on this side of the world one time. They beat off the English. They beat off the French and the Spanish. They're the reason why, a lot of people don't know this, they're the reason why the United States is the size it is, because they bankrupt Napoleon. So he had to sell the Louisiana Purchase. You guys remember the history of the Louisiana Purchase? That's why. They don't teach that in high school or in junior high school or elementary school, whatever. They give you that history. They just said, French sold off the land for like $1 an acre. And we bought the Louisiana Purchase because different countries own different parts of the United States. Florida was Spain. Slaves were escaping, going down to Spain or to Spanish territory. There was a man named John Horse, and he fought the Americans to a standstill and actually beat them, and he would escape into the swamps down there. Jay, so basically it was racism and a socio-economic reason, but you can't blame DR. They were stuck in a shitty position. I don't know enough about history to blame anybody. I just seek to understand. In fact, I don't even try to passing blame. Like, I don't blame you for not wanting to identify if you have black roots. And by the way, in America, as you learn, one drop, you're black. By their reckoning. You jelly. I'll link the video. Thanks, you jelly. You get that link? No. Jay and Reed. So basically, it was racism. Okay, I got that. You jelly. Wait, Louisiana Purchase was a result of Haiti bankrupting Napoleon? Yes. Napoleon had sent troops down there. See, Spain failed, of course. The French were down there also. The French came in, and they had different castes down there. The mulattoes, they didn't have to work the fields. They thought they were higher caste, so they would rat on the blacks. Sorry, Chris. They thought they were, you know, a separate caste next to white. And they sent a French general down there that destroyed all that. He threw a big party for the women while he executed their husbands. So they learned that, you know, they got the full black treatment. They got pushed down. So they began to fight with the blacks instead of against the blacks. But they kept winning. The blacks kept destroying all the armies that came in there, you know, killing everybody. The English came in there, they got wiped out. Everybody that got wiped out. Something to do with the religion of voodoo. These guys would get hit with bullets and keep coming. They're all amped up. Anyways, they got destroyed, and it was costing Napoleon a lot of fucking money, or the French government a lot of fucking money, and it bankrupted them. So they had to raise more money. So they sold off their interest here. Jay, I am black. I try to individualize my DNA journey. So saying I'm Dominican is like identifying my journey like being African American. I notice the word African is stuck on the front of it, though. And blacks here, we all are mixed. 75% of us have mixture. And you saw by my cousin and my family and my mom's family, who's dark-skinned. We all have mixture. Well, 75% of us, I'm told. World's Scariest Drug Documentary exclusive. Vice, you jelly saying Vice, says Ryan Duffy, went to Colombia to check out a strange and powerful drug called, I don't have my glasses, scopolamine, also known as the devil's breath. It's a substance so intense that it renders a person incapable of exercise. Oh, I believe you're talking about the drug they use to create zombies, made from a fish, some type of poison from a fish that black people knew about for 10 billion years, 10,000 years. That I know about. In fact, they're trying to use that drug in medicine now. What they would do, and I don't know why they would do this, but they would create people that were bound to them through fear. This is the Papaloas. Now remember, they're not really the original off the continent. They're out there in the islands. Okay, so they had a different take on things, and they would get someone to ingest a drug, then they would bury him alive. Now his breathing is slowed way down, so he would survive. Keep him coming in a couple of days, he'll do whatever you want. So they had immediate slave workers. They would do whatever they want after they dug them back up. Not a fish, it's from a plant. Okay, then I'm not familiar with this one. I'll take a look at the documentary that you linked me on Facebook. I'm not on Facebook. In fact, I haven't been to that Facebook account since springtime, I think. But I'll go in there and look at it. Actually, I asked you something. Last time I was there was when I was asking you for your photograph. If you want to communicate with me, use the Real Men's channel. They're using Colombia and 2 other countries, huh? Jay says, I'm an outsider on both sides of the equation. Yeah. How do you feel about that stuff, Supreme? Jay's asking me. Let me see. And I understand I'm not fully black, he says. So some blackers try to use the purity of it as a position of power. So I'm more mulatto. Blackers? I believe my dad was officially a trilotto because he kept saying his dad didn't have any black in him, so that would make him a trilotto. And I don't have any problems. I don't have that hatred of our mixed brothers or sisters that a lot of dark-skinned blacks have. I did compete against them in the game, but I compete against white guys. I compete against other brothers. There's part of the competition. I don't have issues against mixed brothers. I can feel sorry. No offense, Chris, but I can feel sorry. It must be hard, like the stuff that Chris James has went through. Not accepted by your white family, not accepted by your black family. That's some fucked up shit. So I really have empathy for people like Chris James. Then you're part of the dominant race, but you're also part of the bottom race. So that's got to create some type of psychological shit somewhere on your subconscious mind. And the correct word, I'm old school. I use the word mulatto, mixed. But Jay says the whole mulatto thing, that ESPN chick talked about being mulatto. A lot of biracial people talk about it. Who was that? Not The Rock, but the other bald-headed guy that actually plays white all the time. Damn, who am I thinking of? I can't think of his name now. Old age. I like the sci-fi movie where he played that special race of human beings. That's why he could survive every place he was put. Jovita's brother looks like him. Who am I thinking of? Bald-headed mixed brother. He normally plays like an Italian guy. I thought he was half Italian, but his real name is Singleton. And I can't remember his stage name or the name that we know him by. We're essentially the connector of the two. Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix was black, but he had Native American in him. Jimi Hendrix went to school with my mom. And my mom, they have Native American in their family. Her grandfather was Native American. Also, Snoop Dogg, he's 75% black, and most of the rest is Native American. Vin Diesel, thank you. Vin Diesel, thank you very much. I couldn't think of his name. Nobody knew he was black when he came out. I heard his voice, like that's a brother, on that first sci-fi movie he did. And people would argue me down. And finally he came out talking about it. I think it was in Jet magazine or one of those magazines about growing up biracial, the issues. I know that, on right here, Chris can tell you about that. It's not easy. Don't know what Thick Boy is doing. I'm probably getting ready to ban him because I don't understand. When you come in with stupid shit, don't have time for that. How long does it take for a black woman to, okay, yeah. Let's just block. Oh, okay, he's one of those, he's a white guy. A troll. But Jimi Hendrix, he was black. He was like Snoop Dogg. Look at their hair; they had the same type of hair. Ali, Muhammad Ali wasn't mixed. Both his parents were black. He's just light-skinned. We are crucial to humanity. I don't see that part of it, to be honest with you. Now, the reason why the Moors lost their power in Europe was over the biracials, choosing the mother's side, the Catholic side over the Muslim side and all that. But, and also that problem in Haiti that you should have actually studied. But, you know, they were betraying their own people that were the slaves. The way you're putting this, you're putting white folks actually at the top, when genetically they are a recessive gene pool, but they do have control of the planet right now. So you have to go by, if you go by who has the dominant genes, then you got to reverse that. Jay, I have my frustrations with everybody. I understand both sides. Usually black people are on the right though, but I try not to hate people. Me too. Let's see, on Maury Povich's show, Ujeli says, they showed someone that lost the pigment in her skin and grew up with black skin, but once she lost pigment, people would treat her differently. Yeah, I've seen that. Vitiligo or something like that, I think what it's called. People turn white. For a while, they look like monsters. And then they lose the rest of the pigment because it's all splotchy, you know, pink here and black here. So getting back to the gene, if you look at our mixed race brothers, you'll see the dominant gene within them also is black, unless their father had a lot of European DNA. And that's what's going on now with our mixed race, because a lot of blacks have European DNA. So the mixed race people actually are more white DNA than they are black. There is no 50-50. Like Chris James, his father was black, probably my generation. And, you know, we have admix in us. So he's not half. He's actually more European than he is black. Jay, I'm aware of the recessive gene stuff. I think that's what makes them hyper aggressive, like Hitler. I mean, imagine having to fight nature itself to survive. Yeah. Can't go out in the sunlight and all that stuff. Yeah. But the most clever thing they did was create the white race that allowed them to come together and push to the top. If Blumenbach, I think his name was Blumenbach, did that, all the races would actually be more on equal standing. And of course, the creation of America really pushed that to the top. The spread of colonialism from England, that was the big push. And then we have America, the experiment of America, and bam, now the white race is at the top. Someone named Illuminati says, hello, I'm from Azerbaijan. I have no idea where that is. I'm totally ignorant of where that's located. Geography isn't one of my strong points, fellas. I used to know all the states. I think I still do, but capitals, I don't have no idea. And I'm really confused with the geography of the world sometimes. I know where Africa is. I know the countries around Africa. I know Germany, Switzerland, going a little bit east, Poland. And after Poland, it drops off for me. I do know China. China spreading out a little bit more east. Off the coast of China is Japan. Then down further south, we got Korea. Then down further out to the side there's the Philippine Islands. But I'm confused where Thailand is. I guess it's out there in the ocean somewhere. Above Poland, we've got Russia. But there are these new countries I've never heard of. You jelly just Googled it. 2 countries west of from Turkey west. Okay, but Turkey's near the coast. That's my understanding. Adjacent to Georgia. Okay. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. I'm really dim on that part of the world as well. But I have an idea. So that must be, is that a Muslim country? And why does the fellow call himself Illuminati? Now, if you guys know the theory of the Illuminati, remember we've had these rich families on the planet. And these people gathered or glommed on together to keep their money and their power. And that actually did happen. I don't know if we call them the Illuminati or not, but they do that. These super rich people, they meet and they discuss the politics of the world, so to speak. Dime Star, you know Jane Elliott pointed out that Africa was minimalized in the global map. Yes, I do know that. I'm aware of how they made it really look really small and how they made anything south of white European countries, all the continents down there look smaller. David Supreme, there is a girl that has show strong interest at work. I know the rules do not go there. I'm just going to leave it because I don't want trouble. Exactly. Good thinking. Iran is its border. See, I'm a little bit dim on Iran and all those countries there. Armenia. I got to go brush up on a map. Jay, I have a white friend who's into Hitler. Why is he your friend? I analyze him on it all the time. It's hard not to get angry or emotional. Why is he your friend? But we must always be open to discussion. Without that, we actually create more frustration, and that creates more problems. We must use our minds and intellect than our fists and weapons, but we still should learn to stay ready just in case. Recognize he sees you as the N-word, by the way. Hitler had this word called mud people. And he was worse than the one drop rule. You have enough that people down south thought you were black. You might have a little bit different hair texture, but you got my color skin of some shade. So to the Hitler dude, you're another N-word with a little bit of American admix or whatever admix. So I'm not friends with people like that. I don't have low self-esteem. And I caution you to think about that. You know, what makes you stay friends with a person that's an obvious racist that worships Hitler of all people? There's also something psychologically wrong with him to worship Hitler. Does he have any women? Does he even have a girlfriend? You'll see some people, those kind of people. I'm aware of that, and I'm sure he knows how I feel about Neanderthals. Laugh my ass off. I wouldn't be friends with someone like that. Just so you know. We exchange ideologies. What's the exchange of Hitlerism? There's not an exchange. You get the whole thing in an instant. They try to make black male actors put on dresses. I was shocked when I saw Wesley Snipes as, yeah. Okay, I was a young adult when he did that. I didn't go see the movie. It was called Tu Wan Fu. Yeah, I did not go see that. I'd never seen the movie. Mud people. Jelly says, is the phrase question mark? Yeah, that's what his reference was. There's nothing to exchange with a Nazi. Basically, he's superior, you're inferior. Let's get out of that. Jelly, if they worship Hitler, I wouldn't even bother. If the person is trying to learn about Hitler to be more educated, I would pick their brains then. What's to learn about him? He was an artist. He failed. He got with the Thule Society. They taught him how to speak, how to orate and present himself, and they put him up. If I'm hearing right, he's a Nazi. Fuck that. Yeah. But they're the actual mud people, Jay says. Hitler's living relative had black blood, Semitic black blood. So him in that whole purity of, he glommed on these ideologies to bring Germany together, though, as a tool. Unfortunately, they actually believe that shit. Whole Aryan race thing, stealing of the symbol from the East Indian people, the Nazi swastika, that was actually East Indian. Stealing their symbol. There's some myth about areas of East India. That's why they have that caste system. Push whole purity of white race, blue-eyed thing going on. Which is kind of funny because he had brown hair and brown eyes. Wouldn't you want your leader to have blonde hair and blue eyes if you're going to be following that doctrine? But that's how blinded the German people were, but never again. There's the phrase that came out of that about good men doing nothing when evil rises itself up. They did nothing. I thought it was the Boy Scouts symbol he stole and reversed it. Boy Scouts weren't around. Yeah, actually they were around. They came in the turn of the century, but no, it was actually coming out of mythology. I'll just call it mythology. ESP stuff, the occult. It's actually a cult symbol coming out of India. The Thule Society was very much into the cult back then. When he would do lectures, they would make sure there was always a white light behind him. And they had this really good technique for making him look like he was God, basically. Just like the Catholic Church, they built their churches on old pagan sites. There's always running water under the church, and the church has quartz in the foundation. So that conducts electricity. So when you go in there, you feel this feeling when you go into a Catholic church in Europe, the old churches. And then when you play music, it harmonizes the music to a point where it affects you. See, they use their knowledge. They glommed off the Moors and Islam. Jay, we have to study any and everyone. That's the funniest thing about it. He preaches all this purity thing, but he had to look in the mirror. David L. Sub Supremo. I know who it is. What's up, Dukes? You jelly. Man, a lot of things were taken from pagan rituals and symbols. Good old Catholic Church. Yeah, a lot of holidays were pagan holidays. There's this trouble with Joel Osteen. If you guys, I like Joel Osteen. He's a good speaker. He's motivational. I'm not necessarily, down for the whole Christian thing, but I guess he wouldn't open up his church. And after he got criticized, he came out with this excuse of there was flooding. Well, someone filmed a video walking through the church, no flooding. And he had showed a photograph, and nobody knows. In 2002, I guess they had a flooding. And it looks like that photograph's from that time period. But my ex-wife had posted something about him. I said, he's not letting people into his church, during this time of need. And someone came back with the video of him explaining why. It was basically an argument I got into on my Facebook account. And I had to show them the video or the idea that, that photograph actually came from early time period. I showed the video of these guys walking through the church, at the doors, kicking on the doors and, saying there's no flooding here, no flooding there. So Hitler was aware of the game, as evil as he was. Hitler was just a weak man that got absorbed by the power. They say absolute power corrupts. Well, it corrupted him. It corrupted him completely, to where all that power went to his head. And the word evil is subjective. What he did, what the people did in his name, and he let happen and ordered happening to the people who live there, called the Jews, it should never be done again in the world. But what happened to our race was worse. Let's see. Hitler was aware. I watched a documentary where they say he practiced his image to the public and how he walked and talked and displayed the right fearful image. That I'm aware of. Let's see. David L. Been investigating in cryptocurrency. Shit is pretty cool. Some of my coins are up and holding good value. Okay, David. Usually, I don't think a lot of people remember or realize there was 3 popes at one time, and popes were more powerful than countries. Achaeus 123. What do black men do after sex? 15 years to life. Oh, he's a troll. Hitler did nothing wrong. Now, this kid is like 15 years old, trying to get attention for himself. And that's a sign that I've been doing the show too long. Oh, damn, it's 12:30. Jay, I have a curious mind as well, Supreme. Understanding people's psyche is crucial. It was essentially the Roman strongest. Was essentially the Roman strongest. What, I don't blame you for wanting to pick his ideas, but I wouldn't make that person a friend. Like, I go to racist sites. I don't try to befriend any of them. I was going there to try to understand where they were coming from. And just as I asked that transsexual, why did you do it? Why did you cut your dick off? I try to seek understanding. But I don't want to be friends. I wouldn't call that person a friend. I mean, a friend is someone you could trust, have your back. Now, if Nazis took over the world, he would deny your friendship, by the way. Because that'd be looked down upon to have a mud person as his friend. So he's not even being a good Nazi. He keeps you around so he can feel superior, by the way. And I've seen that from that type of mentality. Someone that he can talk down and think he's all lordly. Probably a little punk dude. A little punk in real life. little guy with no muscle, no real power, no girlfriend. So in order to feel superior, and that's why they usually join these Nazi groups, because they feel inferior and they want something to make them feel superior. Joe says to me, go breathe some fresh air and get away from this internet text. Jay says, I understand maybe friends was the wrong word to use. Yeah. You just says weak ass fuckers. What I like about now is people like you, Jelly, they're fighting against the American racists and Nazis. Because those guys, they've rizzed their head up. And now people like you, Jelly, can see who they are and what they're about. As I said, in order for white supremacy to end, white people got to end it. They created, they maintained it. If it's going to fall, they have to let it fall themselves, or create the fall of it themselves. So it starts by, them seeing who they are and what they're about. Most white folks, they live in a bubble. They have no idea. I work with these people. They're my clients. They're Republicans. They voted for Trump. They have no idea what was going on. One of my clients was crying one day because some of her relatives are cops. And she said, it's true. They told me it's true, Chris. Cops do target black people. Duh, I told her that the year before. And she had to hear it from her actual relatives' mouth that they hate black people. They're taught to hate black people. And she was crying. Dime Star, what is the worst thing to start a business? What is the worst thing to start a business? I don't know what you mean. I'm 19 as well as learn the game. I want to get to work on myself financially. Okay, Dime Star, you want to start a business around something that you're interested in, something that you have knowledge and good skills with, because it's that knowledge or the skills that you could sell to other people and they'll pay you for it. Let's say you have a good knowledge of building cool websites, which is a skill that's really needed on the internet. So you can sell your skill to businesses in your local area. It's called offline marketing. If you go to warriorforum.com, then you can learn what's called internet marketing. I know Chris James always disappears when I talk about mixed race people. And I mean no offense there, dude. In fact, you could actually contribute a lot to the conversation, because he had told me that, he got a lot of hatred from black people. Jay Henry, you cannot be superior. I am in no way inferior to him or feel so. Ask him if he feels superior to you. If he thinks he's superior to you, you'll get a really good answer. Jelly, thank God I wasn't forced to be brainwashed and have a decent upbringing. That's, according to Jane Elliott, most of white Americans. You call that a decent upbringing. But what she made the point of you probably would, but the majority of your brethren, when asked if they would trade places with a black person, no, they don't want to. So what's good about Trump is causing these people to become emboldened and come out so that you guys can see them finally. The people who are Republicans, as I put on my private Facebook, they sit there because I've been to their parties. There are little parties having wine and crackers, sit outside of their outdoor fire pits, discussing politics, while my race is suffering from politics. And they only know, and another good thing Trump did was bring up the concept of fake news. They only know the fake news slant that the news agencies slant towards black folks. Do I look like any of the people they show in the media? Do I talk like one of them? Do I act like one of the people they show you in the media? Are all blacks uneducated? On that note, I am a diabetic and I haven't had my lunch. I can feel the little head stuff getting ready to start. One day I'll have to see how far I can push. Let me finish it with Jelly Dime Star. It is not hard to get started. You need to plan. Get started listening to anything Supreme has to say. Know your target market. Be organized is the most important thing. Being organized is the most important thing. You Jelly Dime Star. Do not start your business on a loan. Yeah, I did mine on a shoestring. Actually, one of my women bought my equipment, and I started on a basic shoestring. But I did pay her back with free workouts for like a year or two. I can't remember how long it was. But I was also fucking her, so I kind of locked myself into having to give her sex as well. Even though I got tired of her. She had an incredible ass. She only weighed like 119 pounds, but she had booty. I don't know where that woman got that booty from, but zero tits, just nipples, pretty much, and a little puffiness. Oh man, but that ass, brothers, that ass. Bartering is one way to start. Good idea. Yeah. Jay says, look up Dr. Boyce Watkins. He has a lot of info on business. He has actually, I think it's an ebook or a school that he can help get you started as well. That head shake. LOL. Hey, man, I was deep in my memories, man. When I think about some of the girls that really had that ass that was perfect, and sex with her was good. But she always fed me first. She would make prime rib, and she had it seasoned so well, and the shit would just melt in your mouth. And she would try to, arrange, our get-togethers. She would always have something special about them. The prime rib, feed me. Then we would watch like maybe a movie, and I just want to get to the fucking. And I would spend the night at her place too. Sometimes I would go to my kids and then come over a bit late. In fact, I really started doing that towards the end. That big bed and that butt. I never stuck it up her butt either. I wasn't into that at that time. Goddamn, prime rib was good sex way to live. Yes, it was. I can almost still remember the taste of it. Her mom was from Spain. Her dad was from Italy. So she had the combination of those cooking. Yeah. She was also dark-skinned. She had that the real Italian skin coloring. Dime Star, you must have some good memories, Supreme. By the time I get to your age, I want to just look back and have that look in my eyes. Exactly. That's why I tell you guys, you got to solve this shit now so you can get to my age and have some good memories. And when I talk to you guys, I get them flashed through my head all the time. Like just flashed on Susie. She and I, we could come together. That's where I first started learning. Actually, it was with my ex-wife. But I started learning to do it on a broader scale with her, timing the orgasm so we finished together. After that, there were certain women that it was easy with. Other women, it was a lot of hard work. And I preferred the ones that it was easy to do that with. Like her, there's only a few of them, Tanya, the doctor, not Tina, I had to teach her how to have an orgasm with a dick in her. But those women, they always will have a special place in my memories because the sex was so perfect. Don't give Thick Boy any attention. He's some white dude, I guess. I've already, blocked him. Interesting, he has a picture of, looks like some kind of primitive man. Go take care of your diabetes. That shit isn't a joke when your blood sugar goes out of whack. Mine never really goes out of whack. I just feel a little bit of head stuff. Like, I used to get low blood sugar often because I was teaching so many fitness classes a week that it was hard to eat enough food. I weighed like 159 pounds back then. I couldn't gain weight. I thought it was a miracle I got to 180. But I started doing a lot of super high intensity, and that put a little bit of weight on me. Don, did you ever deal with ghetto chicks? Never. Not once. Call me a coon, but I wouldn't bring a ghetto chick into my life for nothing. I think that one mixed chick, she was about the most ghetto because she was at the nightclub with her white mother. And she did the over black act thing. That's why they refer to some mixed races, the tragic mulatto. They either go really white or they go really black. And she's about the most ghetto. But I'm in Sacramento. What kind of ghetto we have? We have Oak Park. We have the Heights. Brothers shooting each other every night there. And I'm in the South area where all the blacks are conglomerated. So in your towns, are the blacks in the South, whites in the North? That's the way it is out here. Well, not ghetto, but just a sprinkle of hood in them. Nope. Now, remember, I mostly fucked white chicks. I tried to number, I think it's about 7 or 8 sisters. Maybe less than 8, but I don't remember. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, yeah, less than 8. So most of mine have been white or the mixture of white and Latino. What we classify as white. That includes Italian, a lot of Italian chicks, Portuguese, a ton of Portuguese chicks. The mixtures between the two, and they do consider themselves mixed. But mostly, white chicks. If Jesse said my brother has diabetes, he would constantly have his blood sugar drop so bad, but it would wake him out of a dead sleep one time. I remember he had 600 to 700 blood sugar and still lived. Them ghetto chicks only want your money, fam. Dupree says. Jay, Manhattan's probably the only place in America where the hoof is in the north. What is the hoof? Hood. Oh, the hood. Okay. I was wondering if they moved all the blacks to the south in cities and towns. But I guess maybe just Sacramento. And I think also Oakland. San Francisco is, I don't know where the blacks are. I don't know that much about San Francisco. Anyways, fellas, I have to go. You guys have a good weekend, and I'm up and out of here. It's been enjoyable talking. We got 17 viewers, but only a couple of people talking, but that's cool. Maybe next time you guys might speak up. I'm out. Have fun.